It began not with war, but with a cry for freedom. In the mid-17th century, 13 colonies along the Atlantic coast were growing restless under British rule. They paid heavy taxes, obeyed distant laws, and had no voice in the parliament that controlled them. Slowly, frustration turned to anger. People began to ask one powerful question: why should a king across the ocean decide their destiny? By 1765, that anger reached a breaking point. Britain passed the Stamp Act, forcing colonists to pay taxes on nearly everything: newspapers, documents, even playing cards. In protest, crowds filled the streets, shouting a phrase that would echo through history: "No taxation without representation." They demanded to be heard, not as subjects, but as free men. Then came tragedy. In 1770, British soldiers opened fire on unarmed colonists in what became known as the Boston Massacre. 5 people were killed, and their blood ignited a flame of resistance. The message was clear: freedom would not come without sacrifice. 3 years later, in 1773, patriots struck back. Disguised as Native Americans, they boarded British ships and dumped an entire cargo of tea into Boston Harbor. The Boston Tea Party was more than a protest. It was a declaration that America would no longer kneel. In response, Britain tightened its grip. Soldiers patrolled the streets, ports were closed, and punishment rained down on the colonies. But instead of fear, it created unity. In 1774, delegates from across the colonies met in Philadelphia for the First Continental Congress. For the first time, they stood together, speaking with one voice, a voice that demanded liberty. Then came the spark that lit the revolution. On April 19, 1775, British troops clashed with colonial militias at Lexington and Concord. The first shots of the American Revolution echoed across the fields. Ordinary farmers, blacksmiths, and shopkeepers stood against one of the world's most powerful armies and refused to back down. As war spread, the dream of independence grew stronger. On July 4, 1776, the Continental Congress adopted the Declaration of Independence, written by Thomas Jefferson. Its words shook the world: all men are created equal.